31-yard line, and the Parsons project is underway in Green Bay.
You know, I'm just happy, bro. It's back to what football is need to be. The trade is done. We got to win. We're 1-0. Now I'm around some really great guys. Now we can put all the nonsense aside.
It looked like a speed of light or shooting star was coming out of the sky and closing ground fast, which that's why he's here, right?
Game one of an NFL season. Like, listen, we're all going to overreact every single week. We love doing it. It's fun to overreact, right? It is fun to overreact. I don't know that we can overreact to what the Green Bay Packers did yesterday. I don't think it's an overreaction to say that the way that they kicked the Lions' butt, Smalls, for your squad, 27-13, and the way that Jordan Love played, the fact that Micah didn't even play that much, and he still was just, like, you could tell the energy around the defense because of him. And breaking news, he's really fast. The chase down sack, normally in the NBA, you talk about the chase down block. Micah's chase down sack late of Jared Goff was unreal. Let's be clear. This is a Super Bowl team. They're closer to the Eagles than they are the Lions. Like, no more, maybe Jordan Love can have a nice season. Maybe no, Smalls. Get to the damn Super Bowl.
Oh, they are one step closer. I don't know how you watched that team yesterday and don't think that they're in the mix for the Super Bowl. I will be surprised if they're not at least in the NFC Championship game with the way that they played. Jordan Love looked great. Micah Parsons, obviously, when he came in, was a complete disruptor. He looked great. That was a complete team win from top to bottom yesterday. And to do it against the Detroit Lions, the team that was at the top of the division last year, and part of the reason why you weren't able to really exert yourself the way that you needed to last year is because you had problems with better teams in the conference and, of course, in the division. That was a statement win yesterday for the Green Bay Packers. And there's a lot of tentacles from this game. Of course, we're going to talk about Micah. Of course, we're going to talk about Jordan Love. Of course, we're going to talk about how good the Packers look. But one of the things that we talked about heading into this season about the Detroit Lions is what were they going to look like without Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. And for an offense that averaged 33 points per game last season to go into Lambeau and not be in control of the game at all at any point really and only put up 13 points was pretty telling of how much they might miss Ben Johnson this season.
Listen, man, all you need to know about the Green Bay Packers is 14 pressures, 9 quarterback hits, and 4 sacks. It was an absolutely suffocating pass rush. They won. They had a pressure. Think about this. They had a pressure on a third of the dropbacks. Micah Parsons, in spot duty on a pitch count, was out there giving Penei Sewell that work. And y'all know how I feel about Penei Sewell. It's the best tackle in all of football. And he got dominated by Micah Parsons. But, Evan, you talked about the chase down sack that Parsons had in that second half. Mm-hmm. The takeaway that I had from that play was the reaction that you saw from everybody, not just the guys on the field, but everybody on the sideline, players and coaches alike.
We're showing it now on ESPN
all ecstatic that Micah Parsons was able to get after the quarterback and get on the board with his first sack. Knowing all of the expectations, knowing the pressure that comes along with being traded for 2 first-round draft picks, knowing that they got rid of Kenny Clark, who was a stalwart in that organization, in that community, and an organization gave up $47 million a year in order to get you. All of the eyeballs were going to be on you, and you delivered. Mm-hmm. And not only that, you set the stage for everybody else to have production along that defensive front. So the Green Bay Packers, absolutely a title contender, and I think it's on the board that the Packers have the best defense in the entire NFL. This could be a Reggie White-like impact in terms of Micah Parsons coming to that organization and transforming it.
Let's hear what Micah had to say post-game about his first game with Green Bay.
Super relief. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, these last 6 months was super draining, super toxic for everyone. And it's something that, I don't think no player should have to go through. I think players' fate should be decided earlier. I think the fact that I was traded a week before the season, it was really outrageous and rough. It's something where I could have been with these guys getting better and better, and we could have had probably even more dominant start, if that was the decision we were going to make. So I'm just happy that's behind. These guys embrace me. They believe in my talents. They believe in me, and I'm just going to give these guys everything I have because I know what's at stake. I know what they gave up for me to be here, and I'm going to do what it takes for us to win.
If he got there earlier, they could have been more dominant, is what he mentioned there. They won by 14 points over one of the best teams in the NFL.
And the game wasn't that close.
No.
Correct.
The game wasn't that close. That garbage touchdown by Tesla.
Amazing catch.
It happened with less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Packers controlled this from the jump.
Yeah, exactly.
Our very own producer, Nuno Miguel Barrera Teixeira, is very bothered by those comments by Micah. Why exactly, Nuno?
I mean, he's acting like he was held hostage in Dallas. That like he wasn't part of the issue that was going on the last 6 months, right? Oh, by the way, you got how much money, Canty, did he get?
$188 million.
Yeah, what did you say this morning, Canty, about that work environment?
I'll take a toxic work environment if that means I can get $120 million guaranteed.
But no, to be fair, he did say it was toxic for everyone. He wasn't just blaming Dallas.
Yeah, sometimes when you're in a bad relationship, it brings out the worst in you too.
No doubt.
But see,
that's really well said, by the way, and that is going to cause me to think about a million things now for the next 3.5 hours.
But
Maybe not that great.
But it's true. Think about it. Maybe that isn't Micah Parsons' best foot forward, but perhaps the environment that he was put in and the toxicity that was around the Dallas Cowboys, and it's not just with Micah. We know that this is how Jerry Jones and the Cowboys go about these contract negotiations. Maybe it extracted the worst out of him. Maybe it caused him to be a version of himself that he didn't admire. And think about how he felt in those moments when he was asked that question after the Packers game. He's in his new environment. The crowd loves him. He's part of a dominant win against the team that was one of the best in the NFL last season. He's a huge catalyst. Why? He's feeling great about himself. He's feeling great about his chances to win a Super Bowl this year, and he's feeling great about the adoration that he's feeling in his new home. So yeah, of course he's reflecting on what he just endured for the past 6 months, and he's like, that was toxic. I'm glad to be done with that. I don't think he's absolving himself of guilt. I think he's just really marinating in the newfound situation he's in, which is a very positive one.
So small. So within all that positivity, he's not going to do a podcast all year because, I don't know, that podcast, so Jerry Jones or whatever the environment was in Dallas caused him to be toxic. Also, Smalls, it's great week one. Check his stats in the big playoff games. He is not.
You're getting ahead of yourself, Nuno.
You're talking about Super Bowl.
I sure am.
Like, this is only the beginning. You're putting him in the Super Bowl. And all I'm saying is when he's been in those big moments in the playoffs, he hasn't shown up.
Okay, well, let's see how that plays out this season. He's on a new team. He's got different talent around him. Jeff Hafley is using him like a chess piece. Let's see what it's like this year.
Well,
Let's see what it's like, Nuno, in Green Bay.
The thing that I'm curious about seeing is what happens when they hit the inevitable adversity that every championship contender goes through. Because that's when your true character is revealed. It's not about what it looks like when everything is going well. And it was an onslaught from the opening snap in yesterday's game. They had it all working for them. The crowd was juiced. Everybody was excited. And the defense gave them a lot to cheer for early. And it snowballed on the Detroit Lions. But what happens when you get in a dogfight? What happens when it's hard? That's what I want to see from Micah Parsons. Not just the production on the field, but the leadership and how he galvanizes that locker room. Can he get everybody to respond in a positive way? That's something that didn't happen in Dallas. Is it going to happen now that you've removed yourself from a toxic relationship that you had with owner Jerry Jones? I'm curious to know. I think that's going to be telling in terms of what the season ends up ending like for the Green Bay Packers.
In its simplest, dumbest form. In school, you learn early on when you're doing multiplication. A negative times a negative equals what?
Positive.
Micah in Dallas became a negative. Jerry in Dallas became a negative. That's the positive we saw yesterday. I know that sounds dumb, but that's the positive.
I was told there would be no math on this show.
Well, think about it logically.
Right.
Tom Brady last week.
My understanding that there would be no math.
Tom Brady last week on Chris Collinsworth's podcast, Pro Football Focus, said, I watch quarterbacks to see how they celebrate with their teammates after big plays and after scores. Micah Parsons is paid like a quarterback. He is the quarterback of the defense. You just said he had a huge chase down sack, but the thing that you noticed is how everyone celebrated together. He's already a positive. You pay $47 million for his production, but you also probably are willing to pay a lot of money to change the vibe and the culture around a team where everyone's thinking, we can do this. Something happened in Buffalo where that vibe changed a couple of years ago. They down 15 to Baltimore. All right, we're good. We're good. You said your Baltimore team has it the opposite way right now. They're awesome, great players, but something in their mind believes that they can't do it or they won't do it late in games. If you saw that already in 1 week with Micah, what Nuno said still could be true, but has a better chance of not being true.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's two sides of the same coin between what happened with the Ravens and what happened with the Packers yesterday, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And based on the Green Bay Packers organization going all in and making the decision to trade for Micah Parsons and to give up that contract, what they told the rest of that locker room is that they affirmed to those dudes, we can win a championship. Y'all are good enough, and we're just gonna make you that much better by adding this piece. And oh, by the way, now you got proof of concept because you just went out and dominated an opponent that has won 6 of the last 7 games against you. The Detroit Lions had won 8 straight division games up until yesterday. There's somebody else that's going to have something to say about the NFC North in 2025 other than the Detroit Lions, and it's the Green Bay Packers. Maybe, just maybe, they're going to have something to say about the team that comes out of the NFC and represents that conference in Super Bowl 60.
Excellent point. The Micah Parsons